So when I said I save 3,000 per month.
Honestly, I still can't get over the fact that you save. So it wasn't as if you were earning 3,000.
No, I saved.
You were saving 3,000. That means you're probably earning. Oh my goodness! And you were paying rent at that time also.
Parents, yeah.
You're paying. Hello guys. In this video, I'm sitting right here with one of the richest Nigerian nurses in the UK, and he's going to be sharing with us the story on his journey on how he was able to buy his house within 15 months of getting into the UK. You know, the journey through moving to the UK as a registered nurse in Nigeria, the process of getting registered in the UK, and I was able to save up enough money to, you know, fund his first house purchase in the UK. He drives one of the most amazing cars I've ever seen in the UK. So he's going to be sharing with us all of this story in this video. So if it's something you think is going to interest you, don't go anywhere, keep watching till the end. Okay, so the richest man in the UK. Okay, so can you please introduce yourself to us so we know who you actually are?
Anyway, thank you for having me here to start with. My name is Oluwafemi Oni. I'm a registered nurse from Nigeria originally. Presently, I practice as a registered nurse in Kent in the emergency department. I moved into the UK January 2020. Okay, to be fair, from what I've heard about your story and how you were able to actually fund, honestly, if for those who live in the UK, they understand how expensive it is getting a house in the UK and how you're able to actually go about doing that within 15 months of getting to the UK, because we all know, not we all know, at least to a little extent we know nurses are not well paid in the UK. Or should I just start from how much do nurses make as a fresh registered nurse in the UK? Like an estimate of the figure for monthly. Band 5 to, when they just come into the UK, okay, they start at like 27,000 per annum. Okay, so after tax, how much would that be every month? It's maybe 1,700. 1,718 roughly. Oh, that's cool. So my first question is, what actually inspired you to buy a house in less than 2 years of moving into the UK? What prompted that decision? I think it's more of financial intelligence, in the sense that you want to like cut down your costs as much as possible when you live in this part of the world. So when you're renting, it's just like you're giving out money. You're paying another person's mortgage. Yeah, basically. You're paying for a value which is you staying in a place, really. But if you look at the cumulative effect of that, you're paying off somebody's mortgage, or like when you buy your own property, which is yours, and when you pay those mortgage over time, if you decide to sell the house, all the money you've paid comes back to you, basically. Compared to renting and the money is just gone. Yeah, so it only makes sense that if you decide to buy a house, which most people are doing now, which makes sense because you're paying to own your property. To own the property. So it's like an asset for you, which in the long run, you can never go wrong. Huh? Considering the appreciation that might even occur, you might put in maybe 200,000. 10 years time, you can get like maybe 350,000. That's how properties can grow. So it is. I would say it's more financial intelligence to sit down and make that decision of buying. So okay, now consider the fact that nurses don't get well paid in the UK. How were you able to achieve this in 15 months? Honestly, because I was thinking the amount of money you're going to pay for deposits is going to be a lot, and I've done like a mental calculation of how much nurses make every month. I'm calculating it with just 15 months. That's nothing compared to the amount of money you needed to buy a house. So how were you able to achieve this? Actually, so when I decided to buy the house, that was like a major point that I had to consider, that is this something that is feasible? Yeah, because you know I'm kind of realistic when it comes to my planning. So I sat down, and the first thing that came to my mind at that point was, no, I don't think this is possible. I mean, it's possible maybe over time, but not like something you could do immediately. Yeah. So, but one thing that I tend to pride myself in is making plan and finding ways to make that plan come into reality. So, I sat down and I'm like, okay, fine. If I have a property that I want to buy, for example, maybe for £200,000, how much can I save? Or realistically, how much can I save over maybe 12 months to get there? And if you you can't. Some people pay outrightly, but for some of us, we have to like mortgage it out. So, I thought that okay, if you're getting like 10% of a 200,000 property, you need like 20,000. So, if I want to save 20,000 in 12 months, how much can I save per month? I had to take pen and paper, write those figures down, and see how it could work and save the money basically. At first, it looked like no, it's not going to be possible because, as you know, we don't earn much. So, but for me, I would say maybe luck was on my side, and maybe the God factor, as I said. There is this restriction that you cannot work more than 20 hours for people on tier 2 visa and all of that.
So for nurses, you guys are you are expected to work for 37.5 hours per week, but are you saying you can't do more than 20 hours extra?
So 20 hours extra. So if you do 37.5 hours per week, you cannot do more than 20 hours extra. So if you earn like 1.7, for example, and
the 20 hours
is nothing compared to the goal that I had at that point. So I came in January 2020, and I think that was when COVID came into our reality. So we had to like adjust to a lot of things. People were calling in sick, and we were short staffed badly. So they came up with this plan that let's remove the 20 hours so that people can work. And considering that I was young, energetic, and
unmarried at that time,
and unmarried, so I had the whole time. Even the time that there was no COVID, I had to stay at home. I was working like 3 days a week, 4 days a week, and then the other time I was just at home doing nothing. But when they removed the restriction, I'm like, okay, this is a good opportunity. And then they increased the rate as well, because even when the restriction was removed, people were not still working. So they had to increase the rates, and people were okay, let's consider it. So that was when I made a lot of money. So I worked a lot.
Especially when you have something you're trying to achieve.
That was like, sometimes I'm just tired. Should I go tomorrow? But I'm like, okay, I need to buy a house. So I'm like, okay, I'll go again. So I had the targets then that okay, if I save maybe 3,000 per month, in 7 months I should be able to have the deposit for 200,000 house.
When you were trying to get those houses, what were the range of the amounts you were saying online?
So because we live in Kent is quite expensive. I was saying like 230 minimum.
230,000 pounds. Wow, that's a lot.
So but that was what I budgeted, that okay, if I wanted a house of 230, for example, I should have like 10% of that. So I was saving 3,000 per month.
You were able to save 3,000 per month.
Yeah.
And the average salary of a nurse in the UK is 1,700.
Yeah.
And you're able to save 3,000 per month. Were you working 8 days in a week?
Good question.
That's a lot.
I worked a lot.
3,000 pounds in a month. Wow, that's a lot, to be fair.
So basically, I worked a lot. I cut down on spending.
That's very important.
I don't eat a lot, basically. So, I cooked my own food. So, I don't buy a lot of things. So, because I knew what I was going to do, I had to just strategize. If you don't invite me, I don't go where
you're not invited to. And just
only important places. So I cut down costs. I saved a lot, and
So eventually, when you decided on the kind of house you wanted to buy, what was the range of the amounts you needed to pay for deposits, and how long did it take you to actually save that, working as long as you mentioned?
So when I said I saved 3,000 per month.
Honestly, I still can't get over the fact that you saved. So it wasn't as if you were earning 3,000.
No,
you were saving 3,000. That means you're probably earning. Oh my goodness! And you were paying rent at that time also.
Paying rent, yeah.
You're paying rent. You're feeding yourself. You're at least to some reasonable extent. You are paying transportation to go to city center and all of those stuff. And you still save 3,000 pounds.
Magical.
Wow. So how long did it take you to actually save the amount you needed for your deposit?
So at that point I was looking at 230,000 house. So I saved it over 7 months. So I had 21,000 over 7 months because I started around March.
That was like 2 months after you got into the UK.
Yes, so 2 months after. So on the 7th month, that was like November, December, thereabouts. I had like my deposits in quotes.
That's like £21,000.
Mhm.
Wow, within 7 months.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So, if you're trying to get a house on mortgage in the UK, do you need to just think about the deposit alone, or are there other costs surrounding buying a house aside the amount you're going to pay for deposit?
Um, I think, well, the first step is having a deposit.
Okay.
But I think there are other costs that you have to like take into consideration when you're saving your money.
Okay.
One of them is the legal fee.
Okay.
It can range from maybe 500 to 1,500, depending on what house you're buying
Okay.
or whoever you're using.
Okay.
So, I'll use my own as an example.
Okay.
When I had my deposits and I paid the deposits, I had to pay legal fee. I had to pay the mortgage advisor, the person that advised me. They always have a fee that they charge, you know. Of course, there are some things you have to do in the house that you have to pay. When I moved in, the flooring was not done.
Okay.
So I had
to pay for that.
pay for that. Lower than that, because
Okay.
of course there are plenty of things you have to still spend
do
money
it,
on.
yeah.
So that was what really, changed the whole narratives for me. And I was like, okay, fine. If that means I have to still save more money.
More money, yeah.
You know,
to be able to
to
meet up the other costs. As
to
well
meet
as
up the other costs. So, and my plan then was just to get into the house as soon as I can, because I want to stop paying rent. That was just the logic.
You want to stop paying another person's mortgage.
So,
yeah, makes sense.
so she was like, okay, fine. I should try and check new houses if I'm interested.
Okay.
And there are schemes at that point that could even make it easy for me to get into the property ladder. So that was what changed the whole narrative. So I had to start looking at new houses. Of course, new houses are way more expensive.
Yeah.
For 2 bedroom around this area, you can see at about maybe 300,000.
£300,000. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So, and at that point, presently, it's, the ones I've checked recently are like 350, 340. So things are changing. So when I spoke to her, that considering that I had 21,000 deposits, how is it possible? Because the 230 that we were looking at before, it's looking like I can't afford it.
You can't afford it, yeah.
How do we do it? So she mentioned the to buy scheme.
To buy scheme, okay.
So she mentioned the to buy scheme, and she told me, oh, it makes sense if you can get your 5% deposit.
So what's the to buy? What was it all about?
So they stopped this now, but what it was at that point was you have 5% deposit of the property. Government gives you 20%.
Wow.
Loan.
Okay.
Of the property, and then you get mortgage of 75%.
Oh, makes sense.
So what it does is government gives you that loan, which you don't pay any interest on for first 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So on the 6th year, you begin to pay interest.
Okay.
So so that was the scheme that I actually jumped on, because it just made sense at that point. If I want to be on the property ladder as soon as possible, if I see this scheme that would make me pay 5%, I will go for it.
So imagine you had not go for the scheme. It's no longer available now. Yeah, makes sense.
Well, maybe eventually I would get my 10% or whichever.
Yeah. It would have taken longer compared to when you started.
I would have lost some considerable amount of money. And if you look at the bigger picture of property, it is the amount of money you put into it that you get, really. So if I had bought maybe 210 house at that point, it's 210 house I will have.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you buy 300,000, it's 300,000 house you have. So basically, it's more of just making up your mind and jumping on reasonable opportunities. Think about the opportunity, and do your calculations. If it makes sense to you, just go for it. Basically.
Honestly, time. So personally, for you, you've been in this country for over 3 years now, and if you're to advise people who are just coming in for whichever reason, probably coming into the UK on a tier 2 visa as a nurse, or those coming in as international students, what would be your advice to them as regards getting a property when they move into the UK?
I think it's very important that you have that discipline. I would say number one. A lot of things you would spend money on in the UK.
Honestly, this country is just expensive, to be honest,
expensive.
because you end up paying for everything. You end up paying for everything. So how were you able to actually do all of those things without? Because I know a lot of people that the way they got into the UK, even for those that didn't come in on tier 4 visa, that came in on tier 2 visa, many of them still struggle to save up a lot of money. This whole discipline you're talking about. How do you think it's possible, to be fair?
So I would say, I think it's kind of personal preference,
that's
or
true.
personal decision. I would put it that way. Some people, they don't see it as something they should chase, or they don't really care about all these things. So I mean, if it's what you want, you need to pay the price. That's what it is.
Just go for it.
The time I started, I spoke to some people
that will influence what you're doing at that particular time.
Yes.
Because for what you said, if you plan to buy a house in the next 6 months, you're not going to go to the club and start doing dorime now. So every of your actions at that particular time will influence what you are trying to achieve.
Definitely.
Which makes sense. Which makes sense, to be honest. Honestly, your story has actually been very inspiring. At least for me personally, I saw the power of you having vision to get something, and not just having a vision and sleeping. You're able to put in the work into achieving that. Honestly, I'm really glad you decided to share this story out there. This is going to inspire people who are planning to move into the UK, and they don't have the thought of getting a house. I spoke to someone of recent, and he said, if you're in the UK, why would you want to buy a house? It means that you're going to keep yourself on loan for the major part of your life. And I was like, mortgage is you buying a house for yourself.
Let me shock you now. So when I bought this house, my mortgage was like less than £1,000 per month. So, and that was going to be for like 20 something years.
Okay.
So what I did was I increased the amount of deposit, not deposit.
The amount to be paying every month. Okay.
So, and I cut down to 10 years. So as
wow,
it stands,
from 20 years to 10 years.
As it stands, I'm going to pay off the mortgage in 10 years roughly.
Wow.
So it's not that you're going to be on the loan. You can be on the loan if you want to.
Yeah.
But there are ways that you can maybe cut down the interest.
Yeah, exactly.
If you just overpay
every month, which makes sense.
So,
which makes sense. At least you've got the property in your name, and as I said, in 10 years, it's already something that it's yours already. You can decide to, if you want to sell it, which I'm sure you wouldn't want to do after. And
another thing I want to say is, when you now want to have maybe more properties, it's going to help you a lot, because since you have the first property, the lenders would see you as someone reliable.
Yeah.
So they would want to give you whatever you want. So getting on that property ladder is the first step, which is what people find daunting. But once you get onto that property ladder, it's just going to open doors for you to build your property portfolio, which is very good.
Honestly, it's really exciting hearing all of those things from someone who wanted something and actually went for it, and it's inspiring. Thank you so much for
thank you, mentor. My mentor.
So guys, as we've heard, getting into the property ladder is something that's very important, especially if you're already on a tier 2 visa and you're thinking, should I buy, should I not buy? Now this is basically just to inspire you guys to make that decision now. Because the truth is, there will never be a right time to make that decision. Is that you make it now, or you end up spending more years wishing that you had made that decision at that particular time. So I'm going to put this YouTube channel in the description of this video. It's going to be starting a YouTube channel, so you want to learn more about getting property, living as a big man in the UK. definitely want to follow him on YouTube. I'm going to put his link, his channel in the description of this video. And if you find this video resourceful, please click on the like button. If you have any other question, I'm going to make sure it's in the comment section when I post this video on YouTube. Ask your questions in the comment section, and we'll try to respond as much as we can. And if you haven't clicked on the red subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Click on the red subscribe button to join the amazing Going family. So this will be the end of this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.